Govs Radio.
This is The Wørt on Govs Radio.
Unbelievable! Wow, that's incredible.
I'm better when I'm drunk.
I'll say. Of course. Is it, right? So there we go.
Hey, we're back on The Wørt. I'm Mike. That's Pete.
I hope someone's getting drunk with us.
Yeah. Well, there was Karen. Just so you're wondering who Karen was. That's Karen's voice.
Karen!
Karen!
What'd you do, Karen?
So, we just cracked a couple bottles. What are we drinking right now?
We're going to start with Fire Island Beer Company's Lighthouse Ale, which is an amber ale, and I am excited by the color.
It is a little darker than I thought it was going to be.
Ditto.
Yeah, I didn't think based on the bottle and based on the label. Beer's sometimes very tricky like that. They'll market something to you like, "Ooh, what is this?" And you pour it out and you're like, "Oh, snap." Sometimes you're surprised and sometimes you're horrified by the color and consistency of the beer. So this one surprised me, and I'm actually really interested. Let's
give it a go.
Nice little light brown feel to it. I wouldn't say as red as an amber, but
Nope.
it is probably has to taste like an amber. So
It's not bad. Smooth. Pretty easy drinking.
now I have never been to the Fire Island Brewery. I don't know if they really do have a tasting room. Have you heard of them having a tasting room?
I have not. Let's check out the old interwebs.
I would think that they couldn't have a tasting room. There's not much.
Apparently,
over
you can
there.
reserve growlers, bottles, and cans for pickup at their tasting room.
All right. There we go. No, I've never been there, and that seems like an easy get. Like, you can just go over to Robert Moses and walk over.
It's in Bayshore, though. So,
So then they're ferrying it back over.
No, it appears
The tasting room's in Bayshore?
their tasting room is in Bayshore.
So I've been to Bayshore a lot, and I've never seen that
Drexel,
pop up.
isn't that where Great South Bay is?
Yeah. Are they doing it out of Great South Bay?
It's entirely possible. Let's look at what Great South Bay
has on tap. They might have a couple of things out of Fire Island, out of Great South Bay from Fire Island.
Some of those
that's quite
places do guest taps. I know Lithology does guest taps for a couple people.
Yeah, well, there was
they're in the same building.
Okay.
They're both 25 Drexel Drive in Bayshore.
So that's what they did. They're basically brewing at Great South Bay, which I didn't realize. I haven't been to that establishment since one of the beer fests there. It was probably.
I went a couple years ago. It's I like it.
The new one?
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. They have not hack-a-sack. What's that?
Cornhole.
Cornhole.
Yeah, they
the
corn a
beanbag
couple
toss
things.
game.
Yeah.
Good times.
Again, a brewery is always better when it has games.
Absolutely.
Because you can drink and do stuff. You don't have to just talk to the people you came with.
I'm hoping that's the. Well, I mean, you went there to drink, so you didn't have to talk.
Right.
Or it
That's
made
the
it
point.
easier
You
to
just gulping beer down, and that's the end of that. I went to a festival there, but I've known Great South Bay since they were a small little brewery in an old motorcycle garage on, I think it was right off of Union Boulevard. And it was still Fifth Avenue. I think it's Fifth Avenue and Union Boulevard. And when I first heard of it, I was excited. I'm like, yes, a nice little small brewery down by me. I was living in North Babylon at the time. And my buddy and I went there and, sat at their tiny little bar, probably 4-seat bar. They had the brew kegs out on the floor where they were doing everything.
Wow.
Which was weird, but definitely cool. I'm telling you, the room was no more than like 12 by 20 feet. It was like a living room. And it gave a nice little small feel. And they had some really good beer on tap. One of my favorite beers of all time is from Great South Bay. And occasionally they make it in 22s and bombers.
What's that? Which one?
Hippocratic Oath.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a really good one, but I think since they moved to the bigger establishment, they lost that small nano brewery feel to their
They have
beer.
a lot more equipment now. They
Right,
do
and
a
they
lot
can-
of different beers, too.
I feel like if you make things like that in small batches, it tastes better. It's more concentrated. You get more of that flavor that you were looking for. Once you go big and you're doubling, tripling, quadrupling your ingredients, things I feel like get lost. I don't know. I don't know
I
why.
remember one of their beers, Blonde Ambition.
Oh,
which I
Blonde's a
feel like-
classic.
Classic.
That's great.
Never go wrong
that
with
was
that. Good
one of the,
summer
I
beer.
think one of the first ones they had on tap there.
Probably that and what's that? What's their pale ale? Blood Orange Pale Ale.
Blood Orange, and they
another
had
good
the Massive IPA.
Massive IPA. That's
That
it.
was their kind of trifecta of flagship beers.
I've had a couple good beers from them.
You have tried Marauder?
No, but I want to.
Scotch
mostly because
barrel aged.
Yeah, mostly because the logo is just some giant Viking guy.
Yes.
I mean, how do you not want to try that?
It looks awesome.
It does look
It
awesome.
is good. It is very good. And I
think I saw something from them on Instagram. They're brewing that now, or they're aging that now.
Yeah. They just popped up recently. You're right.
Yeah.
I think they're bottling right now because I have to have it aged in the barrel, so it takes time with those things.
I had I don't know if they still make it. I had Kismet Saison from them. Saisons are probably one of my favorite styles. I had one of
Really?
theirs. Fan-freaking-tastic. It was very good.
Yeah, I've had the Kismet. It's very good.
It's very good.
Jetty
Yeah.
cream ale.
Did not have that.
Okay.
I had
They have the Cupcake Imperial Porter.
Not a porter fan.
Yeah,
I had Blue Points Porter one time.
Yeah.
They did that years and years ago. That was very good, but I haven't had one since.
I'm
that
trying
I
to
really
think
enjoyed.
of. There was another one that they had in their lineup. Oh, obviously they made the Duck Ale that's
I don't think
sold
I've had that one.
primarily at the Duck Stadium.
Oh, okay.
It's a beer that was specially brewed just for the stadium, and then they ended up marketing it enough that they could can it, and they distributed it.
They have a triple that's very good too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Gotta think of
Muscat
which-
Love. That's
Oh
what it
yes,
is.
I've seen that.
Muscat Love is good stuff.
They had the other
And
one
that
that was a
is-
bacon bourbon.
Yeah.
It was a pig on the cover. I forget what
Yes.
the name of that one is. They've done a lot of great stuff for Long Island. I mean, when they moved to Drexel, at that time, there wasn't as many breweries well known like they were. Everyone knew Great South Bay. If you were even close to the craft scene, you know who Great South Bay was. And you know where it was and how much they were expanding and what they were doing with their beer and trying stuff. But I still feel like that small living room was probably their best days and their best beers. And by no means am I going to not buy their beer and not drink what they are putting out. And of course, they're still doing some of those smaller,
Some of the
batch
smaller
stuff,
releases,
right?
yeah.
And only releasing in 22s and bombers, but and growlers, of course.
Yeah, I'm on their webpage right now. Marauder
Mm-hmm.
comes out this weekend on Saturday. 22-ounce bottles and on tap.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I mean, if you really like a beer, would you stand online and wait for the release?
I don't know. I have kids and a mortgage, so I don't have that kind of time generally.
Agreed. A lot of these little releases happen at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So you get online at 8, you're in the brewery by 10, you grab your and go.
My brother drove all the way up to Stowe, Vermont to get The Alchemist.
Oh, well, that's like one of those like cultish
Yeah.
type of
What's
breweries.
Heady Topper?
Heady Topper's another
it.
one.
Yeah, he picks up Heady Topper from Alchemist. Drove, he paired it with his skiing trip, I think. But that
Yeah,
was
might as well. That's what I was telling you about. We were going to plan a skiing trip, and I'm like, so, Pete, how many breweries are by where this house
man.
is? How many places can we stop along
Not
the way?
enough.
Yeah, well, eventually that's going to be a thing. You're going to find that these areas of major resort area or travel or anything like that, they're going to open a brewery because people go up there and go, what are we going to do tonight?
Absolutely, yeah. Just in the past 10 years, craft brewers have gone from 1,500 to 4,500.
Jesus.
Just in the past 10 years.
And
so-
what, across America or
Yeah,
in
just in the U.S.
Wow. I mean,
Triple the growth in 10 years. I mean, it's pretty insane.
I think it goes back to what I'm saying. There's enough of a market that you can regionally sell beer well. You don't have to get
absolutely.
too big to have to, distribute and be popular.
There's an appetite for it.
Right, and you don't have to be so small that no one knows who you are.
Beer sales overall have declined, a couple percentages,
Mm-hmm.
but a couple points, but craft brewing has grown like 15, 20%.
Jesus. And that's
So-
why they're passing so much regulation on it. New York, at one point, wanted to create hubs, incubators. And
Yep.
the one was supposed to be scheduled in
There was supposed to be one in
Copac.
Copac. Yep. Over by that Corvette shop on Strong Avenue. Yeah, I know Chuck Schumer was pushing for that. I don't think that actually went anywhere, but I'm going to not mention Chuck Schumer again for fear of upsetting half the audience, at least.
What do you think? We have a lot of Trump supporters?
I don't know,
listening
but
to the podcast.
I promised my buddy Tim that I would avoid politics at my own peril.
I
No,
don't
let's-
talk politics per se because I was just saying this the other day, and they were talking about it at the lunch table. This is a show right now. Where we are right now is a show. Until I see actual results, like if I see my tax return and it sucks ass this year, well, really next year,
Yeah.
then I'm going to be involved. But until then, I haven't seen financially, economically, or anything regarding my job or anything like that, any change in my daily routine or overall yearly life.
No, and most people won't.
Correct. And I think that's the big thing we have to think about is what change is really happening. Most business owners are going to see change. So I'm not one of those. So there's a large population of people that won't see a huge change. I don't have a huge amount of taxes as it is. I'm not paying, $40,000 in taxes. So what am I? I'm not really worried about it just now.
That was an argument Bill Burr made right after the election.
What did he say?
Basically said, like everyone's getting, their panties in a bunch about, how terrible this is. And look, people are, there's a lot of people that are upset. There's a lot of people that are happy. But, overall, for most of the people, your life is not going to change drastically.
And think about it from president to president. Nothing changed. I mean, even
not
if
a whole lot changes.
There's some things here and there. People change their health care. They'll lose this, but another one will pop up behind it. There's a lot of things that'll go on throughout the years, but another thing will be underneath it to support it. So they can reverse DACA or they could do anything. There'll be something other. There'll be another legislation passed.
There is
that
actually
will do something else.
In the recent tax reform that was passed, there's actually a pretty good carve out for brewers. So they cut the.
I did hear about that. Yes,
up to 100,000 barrels. They cut the tax rate in half.
Wow.
So if you're a craft
and
brewer,
what's the current tax rate? Do we know?
I don't know.
That's really
it's
interesting.
priced per barrel, so I think it went from $7 a barrel to $3.50 a barrel.
Let's put that on, and I'm really interested in that. When we get some brewers in here in the next few episodes, we talk to people from the small little basement brewers and nano to micro, and even some of the big guys. Hopefully, we can coax them to come in. And I'm not looking to find out what they make or anything like that. I'm very interested in law and exactly how these things operate. Obviously, I know you got to have some sort of operation in selling alcohol licensing, but I'm interested in then how the government taxes you.
I can tell you,
as
it's
opposed
on this article I pulled up.
Oh, good, yeah, perfect. Let's hear it.
All
right, then screw the brewers. We don't need them.
It's taken the federal excise tax from $7 a barrel to $3.50 a barrel for the first 60,000 barrels.
Now, how do they track that? Do they have people that come into the brewery and count your barrels? Do they do it based on sales? What if you're doing a cash business?
I'm sure it is worth if you're a small business, it is worth your while to conform to those regulations. Because I mean, like we said, just said there's 4,500 of them, so obviously the
number of
taxman
barrels
isn't coming isn't making a visit to every brewer.
No, hell no, they're not going in
but
and knocking on
if you
doors
get caught,
and checking barrels.
do you want to be that one guy that gets caught?
I don't think so. But I mean, at the same time,
but
60,000
barrels is a lot.
Like anything else, if you're downloading illegal music, is someone knocking on your door?
No, but you don't want to be the guy that does.
No, you don't. You'll be the guy in the paper. Pete has been arrested for illegally downloading Sarah Bareilles, and everyone goes,
"That would never happen."
And Pete gets all the text messages from his buddy.
And
Sarah Bareilles,
I was wrong.
huh?
It was 1,500 a decade ago, and now there's just about 6,000.
Wow.
So that's some pretty strong growth.
Yeah, and that's
So
per
I'm not
barrel.
the only
And
one
then they're getting
drinking
what,
this stuff.
$7 per barrel per se?
They're going to save $3.50 a barrel
Wow, that's pretty big.
on the first
That's a huge-
60,000 barrels.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
That's
well,
a lot.
Yeah, that's really for
That's a lot.
the big breweries. We're talking, Shipyard.
It's another fun thing to
Goose
Google. How
Island.
many? Let's look up how many barrels a year does Sam Adams brew?
Oh, I'm sure they're going to reap the rewards of anything like that, even though they're very highly democratic up there in Massachusetts. Any legislation that passes saves them a buck, they're going to love it. So they have a whole bunch of, plans here on Long Island to expand the local brewery scene.
Well, there are a lot of tax. There's state tax breaks for that.
Oh, okay.
Cuomo's, I know, has
He's
tried
a
to
big
spur that.
advocate.
Yeah,
Huge advocate of it.
It's a
Because it's a
great
business
pull
that's
for
supporting
tourism. Yeah.
jobs.
Produces jobs. It makes it's profitable. Everyone enjoys it.
So let's just take a small brewery like a Lithology in Farmingdale. So Lithology has three
Right on
major
Main Street.
owners. I'm sure those are the brewers. Maybe they have one or two extra guys that help with the brewing process. They're small enough they don't need to hire a tremendous amount of people. They got their bartenders. I know they have a few girls that bartend and a guy or so. They bring in live music. They have a online menu with the meatball place right across the street, the place where I work. And people over the brewery can order from meatball. So think about all that revenue in there. How many people are getting paid? How many people are making money just from that small little storefront. It's a very small storefront. And they can, brew in the back, so there's not much overhead and space and tax, and the basement. And they can, basically support 6-7 people and
There's a lot of restaurants around there, a lot of foot
right?
traffic.
And like I said, the meatball place, they have a menu that's literally sitting on the bar over there. And they can order a number of stuff. They'll punch it into an iPad. It'll come over on our side. Yeah, and then we walk it over.
Walk it over.
We walk it over.
That's awesome.
One of our hostess will just take the to-go order that's already paid for via a credit card, PayPal, or anything.
It was really good.
And they walk
pretzels over there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Those
giant
Speaking of pretzels, I do have some pretzels here for you. It's probably not good to eat on the air. I tell Graz that all the
I don't
time.
think I'm going to do that.
That's all right. So I mean, just to have that many things happening with just one small brewery. Now, look at the bigger picture. Places like Black Forest Brewery, also in Farmingdale.
First day with my wife was at Black Forest Brewery.
Really nice.
Yes.
There you go. I used to have a mug on the bar there.
Their Dunkel is fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Yes,
it's
very good.
one of my favorite things. That and the amber.
Yep.
Amber
Also
and the
very
Dunkel. I think one of their ambers is their, again, staple. The pills and the Hefeweizen, those are staples. But
Hefeweizen's very good. I have not, for some reason, been to their Oktoberfest.
I've only been there for happy hours in October, and they have live music.
Yep.
They put out a spread, Pete.
I'm sure it's very good. The food
there's heroes, there's wings, there was meatballs. I've never seen a spread, free food during happy hour, and $3 pints.
Jeez.
Where the hell are they making the money?
Beer.
It's good beer. And so we went there for happy hour for years before I had kids. And it was
damn kids.
They ruined everything. I love them though. I'm just saying that.
They're lucky they're adorable.
So anyway, we would go. I'd go there every year for my birthday. It's one of my birthday spots, and we went there recently. The food is very good, and I think they make most of their money on their food. It's good traditional German food with a little American influence, and it's delicious. So I really think like something like that is what a lot of New England places are doing. They're doing brew pub. So a restaurant or eatery that also brews their own beer. John Harvard's was another one here on Long Island.
Yep.
They've since gone out of business for whatever reason. Is that right?
I have no idea.
I haven't been out to
I've
Smith
only
Haven
been out
Mall
there
in a
couple
very
times.
long
It was
time.
good. I liked it.
Yeah, the food was excellent. They had
got a
everything
black
there to
lager. That
brew.
was good.
I would assume they're still doing it, but I haven't heard anything from them.
From John Harvard's?
Yeah, usually.
Oh, no, they're out of business.
That's what I said.
Oh,
they're out of business.
No, they're definitely out.
Oh,
why
yeah,
they went
all
out
right,
of
good.
business or when, I don't know. But they're
I'm like, wait a
definitely out of
second.
business.
I could have swore.
That's that we mentioned that earlier. The West Hampton Brewing Company.
Yes.
They hired the brewmaster from John.
Oh,
Harvard's.
so I thought maybe they took them away from them.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, so
They're very
basically
much
they were out of
in
business. That's what I thought because I used to remember
You know what?
John
I
Harvard's.
should check that. I've been known to talk out of my ass from time to
That's
time.
why we have a fact-checking machine here. So basically, those types of places are pretty much what you can find in every major, little New England town and place like that. And with New York State, and especially here on Long Island, there's such a need for more craft beer. There really is.
Turns out it's a chain,
Okay.
and there are plenty around New England.
Okay.
But
See,
the one
that's where I was
I was
saying.
not terribly wrong because the one in Comac
It's done.
is gone.
Okay, yeah. No, that's what I thought.
There's let's see, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Framingham, Massachusetts, Providence, Rhode Island.
That all sounds like places that would have a brewery in their towns.
Elliott, Cottville,
Don't curse.
New York. I don't know where the that is. And Hancock, Massachusetts, near Jiminy Peak.
Where?
Jiminy Peak. I've actually been skiing there.
Oh, cool. So the Long Island brew scene, I think, is going to have some sort of regionalist type of atmosphere. I would love a brewery closer to me now. Right now, my closest brewery, Pete, and you're probably
Mythology.
is probably I would say Barrage
Yeah.
because it's a
I've been there
little
as well.
further south than the other ones.
Yep. Right off 110.
But and I like Barrage and yada yada yada, and some of their really unique beer styles there are very good.
Is Yada 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 the one with the Snickers bars?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
It is absolutely delicious. They
They
do
have,
a
what's that,
salt.
milk stout, Secret Cow.
Yes, Sacred Cow.
Points for the names for
Yeah,
them,
that was
for
a good
sure.
one. That was a good one. A salt and fudgery, which
I
is
don't know what that
a
is, but
super
I want to
chocolate
try it now.
porter. It's really
Salt
dark
and
super.
fudgery.
Yes,
That's a
salt
great
and fudgery. It's like an 8.2 too, so it's high octane.
Sold.
Yeah, it's good. So that's like the closest brewery. I would love something a little closer. I really would. Something where I can go in and it's got to be good. Like I don't think I would go up to Barrage and grab a growler on my off time. It's a little too far, just out of the reach.
There's nothing. They suffer from the fact that they don't have the foot traffic. There's nothing over there. It's an industrial section.
There's nothing there. I'm not saying I need to walk to it, but I'm saying like on my way home, I'd love to have something on the way. I would also love to have something that's 5 minutes away where I could just drive to, fill up a growler, come home, and enjoy.
That's why I was psyched when Mythology opened. I mean, just to have like...
It's still like 20 minutes, 25 minutes from my house.
So
and that's
5-minute drive.
That's almost an hour of my time now spent driving before I even get the beer. If you add in the time it takes to go in there with the growlers, talk to the bartender, hang out.
I mean, sometimes you just want
drink
that
a flight, fill your growler, go home and enjoy the rest of the night. You're talking about an hour and a half of your time. I'm saying give me something 10 minutes away. Regionally, Babylon would be my best bet, where something would come into Babylon, set up a brewery. It's about a 6-minute drive. I'm sure right away it would be packed starting out. But, from there...
Real estate's tough over there. I think they have a lot of...
so many bars and restaurants over there.
They have a moratorium, actually, on new bars and restaurants. You can't open a new bar and restaurant. So unless you're
in Babylon
Village,
so you got to shut down one before you open one.
Exactly.
Wow. There's a
not
cap?
shut down. So if One Main, for instance, is a restaurant.
Yep.
If One Main it did just change hands.
Yeah.
But if for instance, the hair salon next door shut down, you can't go in there and open up a bar and restaurant. You could open up any other business, but not a bar or restaurant.
So the local,
which
is a brand new German-style beer house.
Fantastic place to grab a beer.
I haven't been there yet. I passed by it. I went to go get a gift certificate for Christmas presents, but they weren't open, so I skipped by it.
I went down there soon after they opened with a buddy to watch a football game, and very good place to grab a beer. They're trying to do that German beer house kind of feel. So
they have a Dunkel. They have
Hofbrau Dunkel.
Nice.
Hofbrau Munchen. I guess their flagship. A few other German focused beers. The food is really good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they do house made potato chips.
Right.
I had a chicken sandwich there that was very good. Good place
chicken sandwich, cow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's definitely you should check that out. It's a good place to grab a beer.
The reason why they were able to open up though is because there was an old bar there.
There was that
the
Twisted
bar.
Shamrock.
Yes, that dive bar that was sitting there. So they had to wait for the dive bar to basically turn over and crap.
I think it's the same people that own the Villager.
Yes, that's
which is
what I
another
heard.
Good place to.
Yes, very good beer lineup.
Yeah,
these are regional bars on Long Island that are taking on the craft beer craze big time and really going out there and finding a good beer. So one of the things I don't like about the craft beer craze or whatever we're in right now is every bar is now looking for at least one beer. And I think a lot of those bars are making bad decisions. So they're bringing in like a Goose Island, a Shipyard, Lagunitas, not Fat Tire. Not that they're bad beers whatsoever. I do like some of those. But they're claiming their craft. And in my opinion, those large, huge distribution nationwide companies are no longer considered craft. That's kind of made their way into mainstream. It's almost like in the music world. You got this underground mumble rap, and now everything is freaking, trap and mumble rap. And as it kind of gains popularity, it takes over the scene.
It really depends on what your definition of craft is. I mean, it's, it's not, you're not drinking Bud Light or, Coors Light or Miller or anything.
You're drinking something like a Goose Island IPA, a 319.
312.
312, there you go.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
A Honker's Ale. Those are delicious. The Shipyard's got the Monkey Fist, got the Nightwind.
But they do something like Goose Island does so many other styles of beer other than outside.
But you have to be in the region to get them. You can't get those things here. They do so
been
much stuff
at a few
at the
bars
brewery.
that have Goose Island Sophie.
Yes, Sophie's nationally distributed.
Yeah.
But
you're right.
I agree.
And
in the city, you probably find a bar or something like that that's have a lot of those taps. Ginger Man has a really great list, and they'll have very unique stuff on tap because they have like 50-something taps. But like, for instance, and I'm not bad-mouthing whatsoever, they have a great beer lineup. But Croxley's, they'll bring in a couple little things here and there, but a majority of their list I don't consider craft. I consider them more either a local beer, which some of it is craft, but nationally distributed stuff that they get, and they just pile on.
Well, I mean,
so like I said, they'll
they're trying to accommodate as many people as possible.
Oh, I agree, and you want whoever's in there
you
to
go
drink
by
what
there
they
on a
want.
Friday or Saturday night, and obviously they're successful at that because that place is always packed on the weekends. Yeah.
They have security on a Sunday. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. That's how packed they
but
can get.
they have, was 60, 70 something taps.
Yep.
It's hard not to find something that's really good.
Absolutely. But I feel like sometimes I go into a place like that and I can't find something as unique as I want it to be. But when I go into a good, like Effin' Groovin' back then, I could find a Magic Hat, which wasn't available everywhere.
Republic's a good place to do that. They always, sometimes their tap list is hit or miss, but very different from Croxy's, and they have a lot more of those local places.
Yeah.
Barrage is usually on tap there.
Yes.
Blue Point, Long Island.
The
usually
local breweries
mainstays.
that really kind of, support the scene.
Yep.
We got someone on the line. Welcome to the Wort with Mike and Pete. Who is this?
Hey, what's up? It's Hector Louise.
Hector Louise.
What's up, man?
Jeebus Christmas. What's going on, brother?
Not much. I heard. I wanted to catch the historic first episode of the beer show,
Yes. Welcome to it, my friend.
and of course, I'm going to convert it into the beer and weed show. And
Jesus. Already?
Like,
We got to go illicit on the first episode?
that's it. We're going to just turn it into a weed fest, like at the end of Beer
God.
Fest.
yeah, it's the beer and weed show. No, actually, I picked up the only beer I have in my fridge right now, which is a nice cold Heineken.
Oop.
And
Well, I will say this, Hector, and I don't know if you have been, but I've been to Amsterdam,
It tastes
and I've
better
been
there.
to the Heineken experience, and the beer over there tastes nothing like what we get here.
Heineken tastes so much better there.
It's-
You sound like such a jerk saying that. But
It's night and day.
well, there's a reason why. There's a reason why, right?
It's
Do
the
tell.
conditioning, the sun, the glass bottle, something like that.
It's actually they have to prepare it in order to ship it.
Because it takes so long to get over here.
Right.
There's a different
Ah.
ingredient in there, like the nitrogen or something that they put in with the brewing
some kind
process.
of chemical they put in.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because they don't want it to spoil, but yet I feel like every Heineken and Heineken Light I have tastes like spoiled.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
if you drink
it's got a
it
little
ice cold-
unpleasant funk to it.
Yeah,
Same with Amstel.
yeah, it's the same thing. And then again, it's drinkable. That's one of the things I used to drink, growing up. And
Yeah.
if I'm at a bar and there's no other option, that's usually the go-to.
Oh, for me, then it's Bud Light. If there's no other option,
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it. It's just too watery. I like a little bite to
Yeah.
it. So even if it's a funk
I-
bite, I like the funk bite.
Yeah, I
Pass.
won't mess with a Coors or a Budweiser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are easy go-tos, and especially you could find them at
Everywhere.
a gas station, at 7-Eleven, or anything you want.
Yeah, no, I avoid those.
But
I usually go for like a Heineken on up.
I could do Coronas in the summer. It's just, to me, it's
That
only
does
when
scream
it's
summer.
warm and on a beach, and lime or no lime, it doesn't matter to me. But for the most part, I can drink that. That's not a problem for me.
Do you know the whole the whole story behind the lime and the Corona, right?
educate us, Hector.
Yes, please.
Okay. Corona was famously the cheapest beer in Mexico.
Does this have to do with scurvy?
Well, what they would do, that's actually another theory, but what they would do is that the folks who would buy it, the poor folks, to kill the taste, they would put pieces of lime in it.
And what was in the taste that they did that? What was it again?
They didn't like the taste. It was like a really...
Of beer at all?
So it's like they would stick the lime in there. Now, the tourists saw the poor folks doing it. They thought, how quaint, and next thing you know, they made millions at that. So God bless them. But that's the whole story behind that.
It's probably one of the first beers that would introduce a citrus element into it to kind of curve it or at least add to the taste. Now most people say the lime is what adds to it. But I mean, the beer itself seems okay. It doesn't seem too terrible. It's like water. And if you drink 18 of them, you're going to get hammered. So isn't that the point of it?
Absolutely.
Well, true. It does. With the citrus makes it go well with seafood.
That's a good point. Yep, I like
Obviously
my
pairs well with a
ceviche.
nice taco.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah, when I do Taco Tuesdays in the summer, I'm usually cracking I have a couple Coronas just on backup just for those nights.
Nice. Also, that's a good go-to beer if you have a lady over.
Yep.
You know,
Good
the
point.
ladies, they
Good
love
call.
the Coronas.
You can't whip out the
Whoa.
the left-hand nitro and go, hey, how you doing, lady? Would you like a nice dark beer on nitro? Mm. And then she vomits on your couch.
If you're Billy
just
D.
black
Williams,
garbage.
if you're Billy D. Williams, you'd pull out the malt liquor. You know.
There you
T.
go.
Williams.
I could. It's just Lando Calrissian with 240s of Old E. I'm gonna Photoshop that now. I'm gonna find a good pic of that one. So Hector, tell us about your show, because I started off today talking about the history and how Pete and I came in last week. I don't think in the chaos that is limo talk that I ever really fully understood the show, where it's being taped and what it does.
Oh, you mean Laughing Matters?
Yes, thank you for the title, because I totally forgot it.
Oh,
my bad.
yeah, it's that stand-up show that I do. But no, it's Laughing Matters. It's basically up-and-coming as well as established comedians from, like, the tri-state area.
Okay.
And, some old friends and stuff. And, like, on the next one, we have Mike Pachetti coming up.
Oh, yeah, I remember I heard that from last week. That's good.
Yeah, and we have George Diaz, Peaches Rodriguez. They're coming up on that, too. And then we start going for some of the younger folk. I'm not calling Peaches old in case she's listening, but, it's a good time. It's done in a TV studio. We hand out food to the folks that come and visit, so we get folks over. I mean, if it's not for the comedy, at least for the free food, right?
Of course.
And
I heard we were going to do pizzas last time.
Yeah, well, they mentioned pizzas.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it could be your bag of taco chips. I'm just saying, be
Hector,
careful.
let's go this. What's the best beer with pizza? What's your go-to beer with pizza?
Yes is the answer to that.
Oh, go-to beer.
Just a.
Okay, go-to beer with pizza
Yeah.
is the old school Michelob, not new Michelob, the old Michelob with the gold
Michelob.
label.
Wow. And it was the bottle? The old, frumpy-looking bottle?
Well, no, because it was a better tasting beer. I don't know what they did to Michelob, but I bought a Michelob. They brought it to me in a different bottle, and it was basically a different beer.
It's probably Michelob Light.
It could be
No,
that.
it was a regular Michelob.
And it wasn't an Ultra or anything like that.
Oh,
No,
God,
I
please
don't
don't
do
speak that
Ultra.
name on the show ever again.
Yeah.
Fucking
No.
Mick Ultra.
If you're looking to shave off calories off your beer,
Okay.
you're really,
Oh.
you're really overthinking it.
No. But there's, like, Coors Banquet. You don't really see that often, but when you do, you're like, oh, boy, I think I gotta eat with this one. It's the banquet of beers.
It's the champagne of beer.
Champagne of beers. That's right. What am I talking about?
Miller is the champagne of beers.
Oh, no. It's Coors Banquet.
yeah.
It's a thing. But the Michelob, there is definitely a frumpy bottle that I remember seeing it now. Because I've been a bartender for almost 20 years now, Hector.
Yeah.
Going on 20 years is almost as being behind a bar. I've seen that bottle before.
You know what's funny? I've been drinking at a bar for more than that.
There you go. All right, so you're gonna go with the Michelob with the pizza.
Old Michelob, but you know what? Now I will go with a Carlsberg with the pizza.
Okay, all right.
Carlsberg. I feel like I've had that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, Carlsberg was the very first beer I ever drank. I was 12 years old.
Mine was a much lamer Bud Ice Light.
Oh, mine was
Bud
was
Ice.
your typical old E. It did. My
Wow.
first
Were you playing
drink.
40 Hands Friday or
No,
something?
it was a 40 behind Stop and Shop
we're
in
40
Amityville. Back in the day, there were woods back there, so we grabbed a couple of 40s of Old E. We
Snug Harbor.
chugged them behind Stop and Shop, which was Finest at the time. Then it became Edwards. Now it's Stop and Shop. And we
throwback.
pounded those 40s and ended up getting pretty wasted and walking around Amityville for a little while. That was one of my. I was glad you brought that up because it's one of my first drinking experiences ever. Like I said, I did have a White Russian, from the house at one point or other, and tasted some other things when there were parties going on at the house. But I never really just sat there and drank, and it was freezing. It was 20 degrees out. It was a night like tonight here in New York, and it was just miserable. But I got hammered, and I felt nothing for the rest of the night.
When you're young, you can do stupid things like
which
that.
is the idea at that age. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, the first time I ever got drunk when I was a kid, we found a bar that was serving people that they weren't checking IDs.
Mm-hmm.
And
How old were you, Hector? Was this previous to the threesome you had?
Wait a minute.
Or when you hooked up with the teacher in high school?
Whoa.
No. Wow.
All right. No,
Okay.
I'm just
Here we go.
There was Pete. You missed a couple of stories. You're gonna have to go back
Apparently.
into limo talk and hear some of
Clearly.
those.
Okay. Yeah, the teacher, me getting laid was actually around the same time because I got drunk and I wound up getting a job.
There you
It
go.
was
You were on the path.
I got drunk at this bar, and then I went walking down the street, and I saw a help wanted sign, and
Who does that?
Who goes to a job interview hammered?
I was hammered,
Nice.
and they gave me a job.
Shut
I was
the f- up.
What? Where is this?
Was it a liquor store? Like, you're perfect. You're in.
Yeah, no, actually, it was a carpet store, and I wound up working there for a couple of years.
Jesus Christ.
Jim Flat Carpet?
Well, that actually, it was really nice people. It was on, in Brooklyn. A couple of good fellas. They owned the place.
Wow, they were like, let me take this guy Hector under my wing.
My people.
It's gonna be like
I
Goodfellas.
found out.
You're gonna be a connected man through that.
No, but I found out like a couple of years later when we were talking about how when I first walked in, they said that I smelled like a distillery, and I was looking.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Who says that?
We like your smell. Come on in.
They liked what happened was they liked my ballsiness that I walked in. I was hammered, and I grabbed the sign. The sign was taped to the window. I didn't ask. Oh, you're looking for help. I grabbed the sign, yanked it off, and walked up to them, handed it to them.
You seem irresponsible enough to walk in here drunk. You're hired.
Unfortunately, I think we lost Hector. Sorry, Hector. Call right back. I'll get you in. I'm trying to operate the phone lines upside down, and I hit the wrong button. By doing that, we've now switched callers. So who do we got online? Who is this?
Oh, it's Knuckles over here.
Oh, my goodness. What up, Nuck?
Hey, Mikey, what do you say over there?
All right, say hi to P2.
Hey, Pete, hey, good to meet you.
How you doing?
This is my friend Nick.
Good.
Nick's living in Queens right now.
Last weekend, me and Brian went over down to Finback.
Oh, you went to Finback again?
Yes.
Nice.
I went again. It was first time for Brian and his wife, and we had a very good time.
Nice. What'd you guys drink?
Didn't care for the party too much, but they had some very nice pomegranate, sour IPA sort of thing.
Sour
but it was
IPA.
very good.
Buddy, did anything taste like Band-Aids?
Nothing like Band-Aids to me.
Well, that's good.
But
We had an experience.
I can't speak for everyone.
Nick, we had experience with some of the Finback beers that when we opened the can, Pete, it smelled like Band-Aids. It's the weirdest thing, but it was so true.
When you open a beer.
Nick, what beer was that?
It might have been a coconut IPA.
Coconut IPA? Did it taste like suntan lotion?
I enjoyed it.
What's your favorite kind of beer?
But I have to tell you that we also went to Near's Tavern. I'm not sure if you know that place in Queens. NEIR, Near Tavern.
I have not been there.
And
No,
they
I don't
got
get out to Queens that
Goodfellas
much.
There, and Tower Heist.
Yeah, see, Nick lives in
Eddie
Queens,
Murphy
so
and Ben
he's right on the
Stiller. It was a
border.
very cool pub. We had some dinner there. We played darts, Mikey. You
Yeah,
know
oh,
the
yeah.
Stories, buddy?
Nux.
Me and Brian did it. It was a close game. It came right down to the end, up to the bullseye.
Oh,
It
little
was
darts?
good. It was a good time.
Are you drinking tonight, Nick?
Of course, I'm having.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Hey,
Cheers to you, buddy.
Cheers.
ginger ale and Tito's.
Oh, you went with the alcohol tonight, huh?
Yeah.
That's all right. Nothing
And I'm
wrong with that.
watching, and TNT's blacking me out, so no basketball. So I'm watching Rob Gronkowski comedy special like that.
There's a Rob Gronkowski comedy special?
On Showtime, bro.
Really?
I don't remember seeing that. That's awesome if there
This
is.
is my Thursday night over here. I'm calling into you guys, watching Rob Gronkowski and drinking ginger ale and Tito's.
Yeah, that a boy. Nux, so what'd you guys end up? I don't think I caught it. I was answering the phone. I think we still got Hector Louise on the phone. Hector, you there?
Hey, yeah, what's up?
All right, hold on a second, Hector. So, Nick, when you went to Finback, what was the highlight of the experience?
No TVs. They don't have TVs.
No,
So
a
if you
lot of
go
those.
there-
No, a lot of those Queens and Brooklyn places don't.
No, and Brian was very good calling it a hipster joint, and then I was kind of defending it because we've been to some more hipsterish ones. You ever been to Transmitter over there in Long Island City?
Listen, Nick, I got to tell you, I want to spend like a week just traveling through Brooklyn and Queens and all the breweries that are there. I have so many places that I need to stop. I was just talking to Pete. Do you remember the night we went to the Barclays and we ended up at Threes? Were you with us that night?
No, I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go to the basketball game. That's right. Crap.
I went to Hanks. You've been to Hanks over there, right? Right by the Barclays right there?
No,
Hanks
we didn't stop at a bar. I ended up getting in there like a few minutes early. I ran over to Strong Rope. Strong Rope is like maybe a 5 to 10 minute walk.
I remember you guys hit up a few of them.
Yeah, there was like 3 in this little trifecta, and I wanted to hit up as many as I could. We ended up at Threes Brewing, which was delicious, delicious stuff. And then we went back over to the Barclays. But like, there's so many places by you. Long Island Beer Project, Alice Brewing Company, Threes and Strong Rope, and other half, Finback, Single Cut.
Central, yeah.
Well, we can go, I mean, literally, you can tell he's in Queens. You can hear the sirens in the background. There's so many I want to visit. And
like the Garbage Point or the Oyster Bay or the Fudge Jeff.
Yeah, but they're so spread out.
You're not going to get too much.
No, they're all spread out. You can kind of walk or take a cab or take a subway to many of these places by you. And it's kind of going.
The helicopter. The helicopter over there.
Helicopter? You got a helicopter over there. Hector, this is my buddy Nick. Can you hear him on the phone, Hector?
Yeah, I hear him.
All right, cool.
I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
The sirens that you heard, they're not in Queens. That's actually me. I was playing GTA on
I'm like, wow, Nick, you really got he's right by the what do you got? Clearview Expressway. So sometimes, there's a lot of
activity.
Activity, especially when Nick's out there grilling in the backyard. It's like freaking a war going on down there.
Part of the scene.
Yeah, it's all the noise pollution that's going on in Queens and Brooklyn. Hector, where are you? Where are you calling from today?
I'm from my house. I'm out in Long Island.
Oh, that's right. You're out in Farmingdale area, right?
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Cool. All right. So, Hector, you and Nick, I think, would make a perfect pair. I'm going to be honest with you. You both love the weed.
Are you playing matchmaker?
Well, no, I don't mean like to make out. Both of them have girlfriends and/or wives.
This is new weed buds.
Yeah,
new weed buds. Yeah, this is like
they would be perfect weed buds.
Come on, Mikey. There's always room in the site. As long as everyone's supplying, come on, there's always room in the site.
I think we might change the name of the show.
Nick.
What?
Yeah. I think I would like Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Yeah, you would. Yeah, he's a good kid, man. He really is. And Nick is.
I'm not a kid. I'm a man over here.
I'm just saying, it's an expression. Come on, guy.
I know, brother. I know.
Hey, listen. This guy's been around for like 15 years. It's hard to get rid of him. I'm telling you. Nick rose on you by the minute. And he doesn't hate anyone. There is nobody who Nick doesn't like.
Oh,
like
really?
I've never met anybody that
hate lots
he
of
doesn't
people.
like. I know. That's what's so exceptionally special about Nick. He loves everyone. He'll meet you for 5 minutes, and they're best friends.
Not really. I get along.
Get along. With everybody. That's awesome.
Get along
There
with
you go.
everybody. I don't like everybody.
No, I mean, come on. There's always an asshole somewhere.
No, I'm an asshole.
I come across them all
Nick's
the
not an
time.
asshole. Nick likes to get drunk.
I'm not calling Nick an asshole. I'm saying maybe Nick wouldn't like somebody if they were an asshole.
That's true.
I mean,
No,
I've been
Nick.
called asshole plenty of times. He probably doesn't like me. A lot of people do it. Can't blame him. I'm a bit of a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, and you go to any bar or restaurant with Nick, and he's making friends. I'll give you a great example, Hector. Nick came to my establishment in Bethpage called the Campaign House.
No.
Oh, wait. Let me tell the story.
Shameless plug.
No, it's a nice bar restaurant. It's got really good food. We'll put it that way. And in the end, Nick made friends with the local hag. She's a very nice lady. She's a very nice lady.
Local hag.
But she
sounds like a fancy way of saying the town slut.
Yeah, but she's like,
That almost sounds like a great name for a bar, right?
That's got to be an English
hag.
That's English pub. The old hag.
Yeah, the old hag. Old Hag Brewing.
Yeah, drug me.
We're gonna come up with a million brewery names.
Old Hag Bar and Fish and Chips.
You don't want to try the fish. The
There's
chips are
definitely
okay.
fish and chips somewhere.
So Nick, comes in, hangs out for a little bit, couple beers. I sent him on a flight basically around my bar, giving him every beer that I think, starting with the best beer and working my way down. And
Nice.
he came in after work, having a few drinks, and probably got a little drunk. He went and disappeared for a little while, came back, and sat next to a woman, and he was talking. He was chatting nice, like he always does. Like I said, he'll just make friends with everybody. And
Yeah.
she took this as a complete compliment, Hector. She was like, "Oh my God, someone's talking to me." And next thing you know, they're sharing a plate of food. They're sharing sliders.
Wow.
And again, Nick's
I gave
Nick's
her
a
slider,
saint.
man. She ordered her
So
own
when's
I
the
know, but my point is, you ordered it. You ordered it, and then
I read
you
the
shared it.
situation. I knew what was going on.
She was very nice. There's nothing wrong with the woman.
Wait,
No,
were they
I'm
using
nice
silverware
to a
or
lady.
was she
No,
told
I'm
you what her
nice. We're hanging out. We're hanging out.
Yeah,
But,
they were hanging
no,
out.
But I got boundaries. And I wouldn't share a plate with her, but I give her a slider,
That was very
and
nice.
then
of
I
you.
recommend something for her to purchase. But she seemed to have some bread. So the local hag, I was...
No, she was dressed very well. Like, she's not disheveled. She's not a disheveled person.
No,
I'm just saying, like,
She
as
seemed to have
as
some
women,
bread, so it wasn't like, it was like this, it
when
wasn't
women
like that,
come into
but-
the bar and are a local
you
and they're
shared-
old, you got to call her something. They're an
I was
older
gonna
women
ask,
that's a
And
local.
if I could get her to pay my tab or something like that, you know what I mean? I'm trying to see what I...
All right, listen, gentlemen, we got a lot of people trying to call in.
Go for it, Mikey. Mikey, it was great talking to you. Hector, good meeting you. Petey, good meeting you. Good luck, fellas. I'm going to be listening.
Thank you. Thanks for calling
Put
in.
something up on
Guys,
Instagram.
before
I
I
can't
go-
get a hold of you on iHeart, so try
Thanks.
to send a link out or something.
I was going
Thanks,
to
Nuts.
tell you, in April, if you look it up,
Yeah.
at City Field, they have something called it's a beer and bacon fest.
Yes, I've seen
Wait,
it.
what?
Yes, there's a Bacon and Beer Fest at City Field. They have one every year. It's a great festival.
Yeah.
I think from what the reviews I heard, I didn't get to go to it last year. From the reviews that I heard, they had a lot more bacon than beer. And I love bacon. There's no doubt about it that I love bacon. But
Love
Yeah.
bacon.
I feel like I want a thing that has a lot more beer than bacon. I want to drink a lot and then nibble on some bacon. Drink a lot, nibble on some bacon.
Yeah, well, they actually had a decent amount the last time I went.
So, I mean, can you recall any of the breweries that were there by name?
No, I was too shit-faced.
That sounds about right. If you don't go in there, quickly do a quick round while you're sober, you're never going to remember what goes on at Beer Fest. That's what happens.
Oh, no, but it's such a good time.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of my favorite things to do. I usually grab a couple of friends. We go as a big group. One of the best beer fests I've ever been to, Pete, and we'll kind of expand on this. I went to Boston. They had it wasn't called Extreme Beer Fest at the time, though. That is coming up in February.
Isn't that
first weekend in February?
it's a Beer Advocates thing?
It is, and it is probably the biggest beer fest I've ever been to, ever. And hold on, I'm going to answer the phone call. Pete, what's the best beer fest you've been to?
Bunch of times my wife and I go up to Vermont. There's one of the places we go skiing at Mount Snow. There's an Oktoberfest every year. That's always a good time. Just a ton of breweries, some good German food. It's a good time.
Where is it, upstate?
Mount Snow, Vermont.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sure they have some great stuff up there. Vermont and New Hampshire, Massachusetts area has got some great beer. Speaking of which, who do we got on the phone?
Yo, what do you say? It's Mike.
Oh, boy, Mikey. What do you say, Mike?
What do you say? Hell, I'm gonna turn my radio off here.
She's Radio 101. You haven't listened to enough talk radio in your life that you don't know how to turn the radio down? Jesus Christ. So,
What do you say?
Pete, this is my buddy Mike. Mike's living up in Canton, Massachusetts. Mike,
Trillium.
I was going to say, what is the home beer of Canton, Massachusetts?
That would be Trillium.
Trillium Brewery. It's one of those. Treehouse and Trillium fight it out up there in Massachusetts. We went up there last year around this time, right, Mike? It was around this time?
That's right.
And we went to the brewery, and believe it or not, they didn't have a lot on tap at the moment when we ended up there, but whatever they had, it was delicious. So he literally can take a 5-minute car ride, that's what I was talking about, and stop at his brewery, grab 14 cases, and come home.
Just a couple.
Just a few.
Spend $500.
Right.
Jesus.
It is expensive. I was telling Mike about this experience I had down here on Long Island, and you gotta tell me how you kind of knew that they don't distribute, because I've seen it other places, So we went to this beverage place over in Massapequa, the one down on Merrick Road.
Oh, yeah.
And I see there's finally Trillium beer on the shelf. And I went, holy crap. You don't see that around here. Like, you don't
I've never heard of
see
them.
those, right, and you don't see those sitting around on the shelves. I picked one up. I picked the 4-pack up, like the tall boys are all sold out. And I brought it to the counter, and she scanned it, and it ringed up $52.
Get the out of here.
$52, Mike.
For a 4-pack?
For a 4-pack of, it was a double IPA, but it doesn't matter.
Does it come with a hooker?
It comes with a and a reach around. That's what it's supposed to come with. $52.
Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Dude, I was floored because I was up there and I grabbed a couple of 4s. I grabbed like maybe 4 or 5 different 4-packs, and I didn't spend close to $52 on the 4-packs. I didn't even spend $50. I also bought merch, I think, too. And I still didn't spend
Got a sticker?
that much. I think I got a hat. I still didn't spend $52 up there.
No,
Is it any
they're-
good for
they're
$52?
most-
It's good, but
the most
it's
expensive 4-pack is like $20. I mean, then they sell bottles of like sours and stuff like that at
right.
$20 a bottle, something like that. But like to spend $52 on a 4-pack,
On a 4-pack. It was
Absurd.
what, $14 a can.
How's your $12 beer?
I actually bought one just to support him, but I put it down the counter. The lady,
they're doing just fine, dude. Don't worry.
I know, but like I don't want it to go away. I want them to invest in it, seeing that the beer leaves the store actually, and then maybe they'll invest in it and lower the price because I'm not buying a 4-pack, dude. It's just not
that's
happening.
That's the thing. I don't even think they distribute it to that store because that's the reason they don't distribute it. They want their beer drank like
Locally.
at premium freshness, right?
Correct.
So they don't distribute right now.
I don't blame them. I would, if I was a brewery, I'd kind of not want to distribute either because you can't, you don't have control over your beer in that way.
Exactly.
So
I mean, they don't even have it in that many bars up here.
right. Well, but that's because they wanted to open their own bar.
Like really select beer bars,
Right. Well, I yelped out loud. I went, nope, like in the lady's face. And I took the 4-pack, I put it back on the shelf, and they had actually, one of them had the Equinox hops, which I have not had before, and so I need to try that. So I took the Fort Point Equinox dry hopped version and took it home for, I think it was like 12 and change. But I would never
Downright bargain.
buy it. Oh, what a bargain that was! But I had to try it because there's no way I'm ever going to get it. I mean, Mike's not good. I mean, you could, Mike, if you want to, but you're not shipping me beer down, which I would love.
mean, I'm not a bootlegger or anything like that.
I mean, is it illegal? Because I see people on
No.
Beer Advocate and Untapped. They're all doing beer trades and stuff like that. I would love to beer trade with people across the country. People would
I
love
have a
the
buddy in
beers here
Minnesota
locally.
that
I
we've
sent some stuff
been
out to
talking
like
about doing
Minnesota.
that.
Oh,
Tom
yeah,
will
to
send stuff
Tom,
back
yeah.
to me.
Our buddy Tom lives out in Minnesota, and he's got a lot of breweries out there.
There's a lot, yeah. Lift
Yeah, a
Bridge,
lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Some really good ones too, and that's what I was saying.
Surly.
like- yeah.
Surly,
Oh yeah.
Surly's a big one. Yep.
Yep.
What else is he sending you?
Like I got he actually sent Reardon this peanut butter porter that was really good.
Okay. You know what the
I've
brewery
got
was?
Surly from him.
Yeah.
Whatever he's got going on.
Yeah.
He actually just saw that New England style IPA is like a style coming out there now. So
Really?
it's sweeping across the nation.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been here for now a little while. I mean, Barrier Brewing Company in Oceanside has basically made that a staple, and like out of 10 taps that they have usually, they are about 7 out of 10 taps are New England cloudy beer style.
Yeah.
And it's not terrible, but
That sounds boring.
but it's really good.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
I
really
gotta
good.
try it. I've
And Barrier just to me has a different style.
but just having
itself.
7 IPAs just sounds
we have drank a lot of stuff just now.
well not enough.
Mike, right
really.
now, Pete and I, we didn't mention this. We're drinking the 1940s Brewing Company in Holbrook, New York. They have something called a hometown brown ale. It is delicious. It's only 5%.
Ooh, I do love a brown ale.
And I love browns too, man. It's
very
one of
good.
my favorite things. And actually, you know what? I will say one of my favorite browns is from a company, or a brewery, called Sweetwater. Sweetwater used to have this brown hop hash brown. And it wasn't an IPA. It was a brown ale that was dry hopped with hop hash. What you know about hop hash, Michael?
What is hop hash?
I would imagine it's the same way they make hash with marijuana. Is you would get the oils off of the hop plant.
Yeah.
So basically, you're not using the actual leaves or anything like that. You're basically squeezing them out and getting a
The
dried version of the juice, and then it's concentrated, and then they
I
use
hear
that in the
hash, I
brewing
think,
process.
like hash browns. But
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
fat
Yeah.
kid.
I mean, I don't think they toast them. I think it's more. Sweetwater had come out with the 420 Pale Ale, so I think I know where they're going with that. And when they come out with a hop hash, I think they're going to use the same process that you would do for weed that you would do for the brewing process. Mike, have you had that hop hash?
I've not had hop hash. I've had the 420 Pale Ale, but not hop hash.
Okay. It's actually very good, but like I said, combined with that brown, I think it's a really good combination. It's got a little bit of the hop and a little bit of the brown flavor that we're typical to.
Sweetness from the brown. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Cool. We're going to what was I talking about right before that? Mike's one of the guys that came into the studios at Hofstra and had done some shows with me. So, and he's an avid talk show radio listener, so he kind of knows where to push the buttons and where to not, and make it an uncensored beer show, as we say.
Quickly bring up
Disney
rape.
Uncensored.
That's
It's an
true.
XL channel.
I know what we were talking about. We talking about beer trading. I really love to beer trade with you. I know we got a bunch of stuff down here.
Yeah, we definitely get that going.
I don't think it's illegal to send beer through the mail.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Well, through the post office it is, but you can like FedEx it or UPS.
That is good information to have. I had a buddy out in Minnesota I got to start beer trading with. And you definitely just hung up on somebody. Just a straight up sine wave over the air.
Well, whoever's calling in, just try
calling
back.
back.
Yeah, because I have to rush in from the studio itself into the other room where I'm usually sitting for a limo talk and answer the phone. So, Pete,
Seems like you need an assistant.
We should get a board
we
operator.
do, but we can't pay anybody right now because we're doing this all on the arm. So, eventually, I'll get it
Gotcha.
done. It's not bad because that's why I have Pete here. Pete here is to kind of fill in the conversation while I run around.
That was a poor choice on your part.
You know, I remember my wife actually was on a trip in Texas.
God, that's good.
She went to Houston, and actually, she was in Houston when the Astros won the World Series. Too bad it wasn't in Houston. But in the meantime, she actually went to a distributor for me down there. She knows I loved to test and try new beer. And she picked me up a six-pack and shipped it back, or actually put it back in her carry-on and brought it back. And there's some really good things going on down there. I mean, like any place, in my opinion, a lot of beer starts with the water that's being used. And a lot of the taste from beer comes from the type of water in the local area. And then the ingredients, obviously, I don't know how many people are using, crazy different ingredients, but a lot of times it's the same ingredients. So what changes from beer to beer is not the hops or the malts or the grain or anything they're using. It's, in my opinion, the water that really sets it off.
I would imagine there's just straight up brisket in Texas beer.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Straight up, just
bourbon
just
and
beef,
bacon.
just beef flavor, just like steer piss and beef flavor. And I mean that in a good way. You hung up on them again. Pile of difficulties. We hung up on another caller, so whoever that was, I hope you want to call for the third time's a charm.
Dude, you got whoever's calling has got to really let it ring for a while. Ridiculous.
Is there any way to get that phone in here?
There might be next time when we have a little more time. I'm not gonna do it right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely we got to do that. Mikey, what else you got going on up there? What are you drinking tonight?
I got myself a little coffee porter from Trillium, actually.
What's it called? Is that the dial-up?
It's called Pot and Kettle.
Pot and Kettle. I did see that. I didn't get to try that when we were up there. It didn't have it on tap. Like I said, they only had a limited amount of stuff up there. So, how is it?
They actually opened more tap lines in the tap room. So
Nice. And I know they expanded
Stuff you like.
they expanded the brewery itself, right? They opened up a second location or another warehouse somewhere to do experimental stuff.
No, Canton was their second location. They started out in Boston, outgrew their space, moved out to Canton to do their canning and tap room and everything, and now they're building a brewery, not a brewery, but like a brew house, like with food and like a brew pub. There we go.
Okay. All right, that's
down,
right on
like
the harbor,
Seaport
right?
Boston.
Did you guys go to
Yeah.
that when we have a little? By the way, Pete, this is a kid I grew up with in Amityville. We have a core of people that we've collected along the way, and we used to have like once a year go up, go all together to. It was a casino for a while, and then we occasionally have those beer fests we can go to. And this year they decided, and last year too, decided to just get a hotel in the harbor and then just go bar hopping. And I kind of skipped out on it this year because for me, for driving up and down in one day or really over the course of 2 days, but 24 hours, it's a lot to just go to a couple bars. But now I'm kind of kicking myself because I realized Trillium opened up that place on the Greenway, right?
Yeah, but that was in the summertime, so you didn't miss that yet. You can come up in the summer.
No, but didn't you guys meet up in February? Not February, early January?
November, but the Greenway closes end of October.
Oh, they closed the Greenway in the winter.
And now they actually just opened up they bought a space in Roslindale, which is like a small part of Boston. Like it's not Boston proper, but it's on the way towards the suburbs.
Okay. Accessible,
opened up like this whole space there. They have taps and they have bands playing and stuff. Pretty cool.
And they're doing the same tap lit lineup that they do at the brewery itself?
Yeah, man. They're just taking over.
Nice. Trillium's good, Pete. We're going to get some of that down here. Mike and I will do a trade, and we'll bring it in one night, and we'll talk about it. Mike, you're going to be our Massachusetts/Northeast representation for our show every so often.
I think you can handle that.
Yeah, I want you to really go out and explore some small places up there and report back to us. I think that's a great homework for you, and I'm sure you won't be
I can
too
take
upset.
on that assignment.
I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, dude. Good listen, but I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
If you ever say "heiny butt" again, I'll never listen to the way you say it.
Wow, that was like an hour and a half ago. I appreciate you listening that long. Holy shit. I could have said
appreciate
ass.
you not turning the radio off when he said Heine butt.
Yeah, immediately shutting it down.
I wanted to
Close,
walk
dude.
out of the
It was
room.
real close.
I'm so used to saying it at the home, man. That's how much I don't get out. And when I do get out, I'm literally just slinging beers and liquor drinks at people. So it's not much of a sociability for me.
All right, man.
Buddy, I appreciate you calling in.
Thanks for calling in, Mike.
That's Mike from
Good talk.
Boston.
No problem.
Later, buddy.
Good talking to you guys.
Holla.
Peace.
Mike's great, man. He really had a tremendous amount of time up there to really explore some of those breweries up there. And Trillium, like he said, is really taken over up there. It's one of those things. Treehouse and Trillium, they've basically pushed out the major Vermont and New Hampshire breweries that pushed in.
Okay.
They've overtaken them and really kind of kept them on the outside now, where before it was, Hetty Topper, it was Alchemist, it was Magic Cat, it was Long Trail, it was all those big beers in the Boston area. And now these guys come in, start small, work up to be like this mid-level, above a microbrewery, and they produce really good stuff.
They have limits on their beer.
Yes, they do. And I think that's probably why I got charged $52 for a 4-pack.
That is fucking bananas,
It is
man.
ridiculous. And I can't tell you how fast I went, nope. That was it. Like right in the lady's face. And I think she really got scared for a moment because I just yelped it out. I didn't even look at the register. She just said, that'd be $52. I said, nope. Never going to happen. Never. A 4-pack of beer for $52 is the most ridiculous thing. By the way, I sent an email to Trillium to let them know. And you know what? On top of it, I was hoping to get an email back just to saying, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not looking for free beer at all. All I'm looking for is just an acknowledgement of this stuff's going on, and I guarantee that's why they put a limit on how much you can walk out with. I think that
same thing for Hetty. I know Alchemist does the same thing for all of their beers.
Yeah, because people would just go in, put it on a truck, and drive it 30 miles.
My brother was
300 miles
was
to
selling
anywhere we can't get it.
You could sell the empty cans. You could sell the empty cans of Hetty Topper for $4 apparently, which is just
for what?
I don't know.
For what? To say you've had it, which you
Isn't
really
that
haven't?
Right.
Yuck. Jesus Christ, what's wrong
There's
with
some
people?
really dumb people.
People, you know what it is? It's Instagram. Instagram has made you famous. If you can post a can of Hetty Topper, then you're going to get likes and you're going to feel special for that 5 minutes.
See, these are all good reasons why I'm not on social media.
I don't do it for that kind of thing. Listen, we're going to take a break for a little bit. We'll come in. We'll wrap it up. I know we're running late today. It's 10 o'clock already. We're cutting into Limo Talk replay time.
Oh, God.
And we have a lot to do here in the studio, Pete, after we're done here. So I really want to get to that break. We'll, come back and just wrap it up and really just hit it home, and then we'll go home. All right, buddy. We'll see you in a second.